Hello everyone, my name is Sick and welcome back to another ArmA free Eden editor video. Today's video will be about me trying to make a ambush scenario where basically the player's infantry squad will be walking along this road over here and they will be engaged by an enemy sniper, which I already placed down, who is in between the rocks over there. So first that we want to do is we want to add several infantry units. So I'm just going to, for now, copy and paste this guy a little bit. This is of course the player. I'm going to want to place one guy there, and the idea is for us to be in somewhat of a staggered column. So I'm going to place another guy there, another guy there, another guy there, and another guy there. That should be fine for now, I think. Of course, then we need to switch these guys around a little bit so that their type is, for example, this guy is going to be a team leader. This guy is going to be a T. That guy is going to be a gunner with an MK6. And these other guys can just be riflemen or riflemen like myself. Of course, then the next thing that we want to do is we want to give these guys variable names. So this guy is going to be A1. This guy is going to be A2. This guy is going to be A3. And I'm skipping myself because I'm going to want to refer to myself as player. Alright, so that's why I'm not giving him a name right now. So we have A2, A3, A4, and A5. Of course, then we also need our sniper to have a name, and his name will be Sniper1. And we also want him to be in a prone position. Right, so what we're going to type down in Init is this set unit pos down, all capital letters, and we're going to end that with a semicolon. Alright, and that should make sure that once the mission starts, this guy is going to be in a prone position, and we can check that out. So let me put down a civilian. You can he's a little bit higher than anticipated, so let's move him down a little bit. There we go. And then we can just click on him and say play as a character. And there we go. Now this guy is in a prone position. He has a view, or a clear view of these guys, but for some reason he is not actually seeing them yet. So we're probably also going to want to increase some of his assets or his attributes. Alright, so let's jump back. Let's open this guy up. That sounds really sick, but... Right, fleeing coefficient sets the cowardice level of the unit. The more cowardice the unit has, the sooner it will start fleeing. 0 means maximum courage. Alright, this guy is going to have maximum courage. Let's see, we are going to want to have advanced skill settings over here. I am using a mod that expands upon the editor features, and I highly recommend it, and I will be linking it in the description below. Right, so aiming accuracy should probably stay the same, aiming speed, probably the same, aiming shake as well. Courage is here once more. He's just going to go up with that. Affects the AI's decision making. Spot time. There we go. React to death, damage, or observing an enemy. Higher value is quicker reactions. So let's jump this up to, let's say, 80%. And spot distance, let's jump this up to 80% as well. Let's see what that does. Still nothing. Alright, well, the thing is, we're going to want those guys to move closer anyway, and we're going to do that through a script, which we are going to jump into the mission folder for. So these guys are going to be walking down the road, they're going to be walking closer and closer. Of course, we do need a script that says that this guy will not be able to fire as well, until the moment that we want him to fire. So, let's see. Let's jump back to the editor. I have not actually saved this mission yet, so we're going to do that right now. We're going to say save mission as sniper ambush intro, And I am not going to binarize the scenario file, because what that does is the mission.sqm file, of course it will be binarized, but that makes it completely unreadable and unusable in case we need to edit anything inside of it. So do not do this until you are actually able to finish the mission off, right? Because the process of binarizing the SQM file does save a little bit of loading time. But as the description says, it makes the file uneditable in a text editor. And while the scenario is still under construction, that is a very big deal. All right, so do not binarize the scenario file until the mission is finished. All right, let's save this, and let's jump into the mission file that we just created. All right, so we're in the mission folder that we just created. And the first thing that we are going to want to do is we're going to want to create a custom .sqf file. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to open up Notepad, which in Dutch is actually kladblok. So I'm going to open this up, and what we want to do is we're going to save as. We are going to go towards wherever your profile is that you're using. So my profile for ArmA Free happens to be in ArmA Free Other Profiles. So then we go towards SIG, Missions, Sniper Ambush Intro. And what we're going to want to do then is we're going to want to save as any file, not as a text file, but as any file. And that is very important, because otherwise the type of the file will not automatically switch into an SQF. So what we are going to want to do is we're going to call this one intro.sqf. We're going to save it. And now you can see that inside of the mission folder we have a SQF file, or bestand in Dutch. Once we open this up, there is nothing inside, but we're going to change that right now. Right, so we're going to want to add several commands here, just to start off right away. We're going to want to make sure that the sniper is unable to fire. So we will say sniper1 disable AI move, first of all, because I don't want him to get up and start running around. And we are going to end this with a semicolon. We're going to then say sniper1 disable AI target, and sniper1 disable AI auto target. Alright, and again semicolon, because that is the thing that separates these commands, and otherwise he will try to make one single command out of all of these commands together, and that is going to be very bad. Alright, so next thing we want to do is we're going to create a little bit of space, and we're going to want to make sure that the AI guys on my team are actually moving forward. Alright, so we have A1, and we're going to say switch move hub spectator lower bar walk. Alright, I have to look at my cheat sheet on the side of my computer here for a second for these commands. So that's why you hear me hesitating a little bit. We're just going to copy this. We're going to paste it several times because we have like 5 guys, and we're just going to say A2, A3, A4, and A5. And at the bottom, we will have the player as well. All right. Another thing that is very important is we are going to want to add a cinematic border to the intro. And the way we do that is, let me look at the cheat sheet once more. Yeah, bracket 0, comma 0, comma false, bracket, 1 space, spawn, bis, FNC, cinema border. Alright, this is what will create the border eventually. Alright, so this is going to be fine for now. And I'm going to save this by just saying save. And then we're going to switch back into the mission folder, or inside of the mission in the game, and we're going to see what this looks like. Actually, we need to do one more thing, and I forgot all about this, so excuse me for that. But we're going to open Notepad one more time, and we're going to write in a new file, let's see, this equals exec vm intro, oh, wrong sign there, intro.sqf. And another semicolon right there. Alright, and we're going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to do the same thing once more. We're going to switch it to all files, and we're going to call this one the init.sqf. Alright, and this is important because the init.sqf is the file that gets read before the mission starts. And so this means that anything that you write down in the init.sqf automatically happens. And actually, we should actually take out the cinematic border over here. Alright, we're going to take this one away, we're going to save it, and then we're going towards the intro or the init.sqf, and we're going to paste it down right there. Because this means that, like I said, init.sqf file gets read first, and so the cinematic border will actually be activated before the mission even starts, whereas the intro.sqf will only be read and started after the mission starts. Right, so this is important because otherwise there would be like a half a second delay before the black borders show up, and that just looks weird and funky. So we're going to save this as well, and we're going to jump back into the game. Alright, so now that that is taken care of, let's have a look at the result so far. So we're going to just jump up straight into the scenario and let's see what we get. Alright, so at this point we have our guys. They're in a staggered column formation. They are walking down the road in the hub spectator walk, and our sniper should be prone up there as well. He's not targeting us even if he sees us at the moment. And the one thing I notice right now is that I'm going not in a straight line. We're going slightly off-road, and that is something that I should check once we get back into the editor. Another thing that we should note is that we did not actually call for an action to end this right now. So these guys are just going to walk on endlessly. The sniper is never going to fire. And, well, overall that's just a pretty terrible situation to be in. So, we are going to jump back towards the editor. We're going to turn these guys ever so slightly. Oh, no. I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to turn them just a little bit down the road so I can be sure that they will follow the correct direction. Right, so that guy should be fine. That guy should be fine. That guy should be fine. Oop. And actually this guy, yeah, he's going to be fine as well, as long as we point him down the road a little bit, just like that. It's really useful that you can actually see this. And my cheat sheet actually just dropped off my computer. There we go. Hopefully that's going to stay put. Alright, so save the changes, of course. And then we're going to want to make sure that at some point the cinematic borders are deleted and all of that stuff. So what we probably want to do now is create a trigger. So we will create, let's see, trigger, no, not one that is that big. This one is maybe a little bit too small, but it's fine, we can always make it bigger. Let's open this thing up. Let's say that the size A is going to be 15. There we go. Now we will be sure that these guys will actually enter in the trigger area. Or actually we could maybe make this a little bit longer as well, in case anybody ends up going off path too much. Alright. Let's open this thing up once more. We are going to give this a name. And this is going to be Start Ambush 1. Alright. And next up, activation is going to be blue 4, because we are going to wait for those guys to enter. Activation type is going to be present. It is not going to be repeatable. The condition is just like this. This is fine. And on activation, we are going to want to run another script. So what we want to do is this equals exec exec VM, and we are going to create another custom.sqf file, and we're going to call that one ambush.sqf. And again, we're going to end up with a semicolon right there. Alright, so this means that we are now fully prepared, and we should jump back out into the mission folder where we will create another custom.sqf file. Alright, so we're back in the mission file. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to open up Notepad one more time. We're going to save this one again as all files. And we're going to call this one ambush.sqf. Alright, so let's save this. And then we're going to want to do several things. The first thing that we want to do is we're going to want to allow the sniper to fire again. Alright, so we're going to say sniper1 enable AI targets semicolon sniper1 enable AI auto targets. Then we are going to want to wait a little bit, I think, but I'm not entirely sure, so we're going to see how this is going to work out. We're going to say sleep free. That is going to make sure that there is a 3-second delay between the sniper being able to fire and whatever commands we add next. And I think what we want to do at this point is, let's see, make sure that the cinematic border disappears. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to say bracket 1, 1, false, bracket spawn bis fnc cinema border semicolon. Alright, let's save this, and this should lead to the sniper being able to target us again. But let's see how that works out in game. Alright, we're back in game, and probably something that we want to do is, for now, we're going to open up the trigger once more, and on activation we're going to say hint trigger reached, so that we will know that we actually reached the trigger and it activated okay, because I'm not entirely sure that this sniper will still be able to see us and fire at us. Alright, so we're going to see what this is going to do for us. Also, save the file, play. Of course, right now this is a little bit boring, but of course, as you learn more things, you can actually have a nice little conversation as you walk down the road here, for example. You can have banter between all of these guys as they walk through the sunny island of Tanoa before they reach the enemy trigger zone. But this is a little bit slow, so let's... we can't actually speed up time. I was going to say let's speed up time and see what happens, but we're just going to have to sit through this a little bit. So for further testing, we probably want to move the trigger area a little bit closer, because I really don't want to sit through this every single time. And we are still going off course a little bit, as you can see. We are about to walk into a tree, and there's nothing we can do. Getting closer, however. Did I actually switch my own character? Because everybody else seems to be more or less okay, but myself, I'm just... Oh man, freaking palm tree. Right, this guy is about to reach the trigger zone. It is about equal to the tree. Trigger reached, yep. And I now know what I forgot to do. Sniper is still not firing. Still completely unaware. I have no idea why that is. He is the most stupid and blind sniper in the existence of the ArmA universe. Let's jump back out. Because of course what I forgot to do is... let's first make sure that our guy is off-center a little bit more. We need to make sure that we actually cancel their walking animations. So let's jump back into the mission folder once more. Alright, in the mission folder once more, we are going to want to open up ambush.sqf. And what we are also going to want to do is copy a new command. But what we're going to want to do for this is we're going to go to the internet. I'm going to go to one of my own tutorial videos, which I made a while ago. And I'm going to copy and paste this line right there. And this is something, you know, you can see the name of this animation. It is simply too hard to type out. So we're just going to copy and paste this. We're going to go right there, and we're going to paste it 6 times. Right? Now this one is going to be A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. Alright, next thing we want to do is we're going to add a sleep command of 1 second. And we're going to add another command because I kind of want to have my own team working together, of course. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to type brackets A2, A3, A4, A5, and player. Another bracket, join A1, because A1 is of course our sergeant. And we're going to close this off with a semicolon. Alright. So, let's see how this is going to work out. Alright. We're in the game once more. We're going to move this trigger area closer, just so that we can see what's going on. We're going to save this for now, and let's enter the scenario one more time. Alright, so we're on the road again. It looks like we're walking in a much straighter line this time around, which is good. Trigger reached.
Join group. Ready.
The cinematic borders ended.
Ready.
These guys all joined up, and they're able to walk and go into formation again. That was really good news. But of course we are still in the blind spot of the sniper, and I have really no idea why that is. So I'm going to try to figure this out and see if we can make this guy fire on us finally. Alright, so I had a little bit of messing around, and the problem seems to be purely distance related. So what I did is I copied one of these guys and I pasted him down there, right where you can see him down here. Alright, and this guy is actually going to be fired at, but not at the beginning of the scenario. So let's see how this plays out. I'm going to be playing as a civilian. As you can see, the sniper is right there. He's going into his prone position, just like we want. He's not firing until this guy actually reaches the trigger. And once he does, this guy is finally opening fire, except he seems to be firing into the rock, which is a problem for us. So we're going to want him to move forward just a little bit, because if he fires into the rock, he's not going to be an efficient sniper, and we would like one of those guys to be killed at least. Alright, so for now this guy's completely safe where he is. Of course, we are going to be triggered somewhere at that crossroads over there, but apparently that is too far away. I have no idea why, but there you have it. Alright, so let's return to the editor. This guy can be deleted, and we now know that the problem is purely distance related and not actually the script that we're running. So that's really good. So far so good. Of course, this trigger should probably be further up the road a little bit, and this is just going to be a matter of fine-tuning, I suppose. We're going to move these guys up the road as well, probably a little bit more, because, well, otherwise we'll have to wait for a really damn long time again. Let's try this one out. Unfortunately, this is the reality of making missions for ArmA. It's just going to be a lot of trial and error. Just a lot of waiting, lots of retrying, and trying out different things, and waiting and retrying once again. Right, trigger reached. This seems to be the good spot.
Ready. Shit, we got a man down.
Oh, look at that.
Attack the sniper. Northwest. Sniper, 200 meters. Front. Target neutralized. We got a man down. I'm covered. Go. 2. I'm the new actual. We got a man down. Okay, let's go. On the move. Covering fire.
Alright, so that worked out pretty well. This seems to be the sweet spot, or very close to this at least, and also we don't even have to move the sniper forward anymore, because, well, as you can see, he has no trouble firing down over here. So,
Clear.
I think that does it
Got an enemy.
pretty well.
Unknown contact. 200 meters. Front.
He sees an enemy. Oh, that's an unknown. That's a civilian that is still standing up there. So, let's jump back to the editor. The civilian can be deleted for our scenario purposes. And of course these guys could be moved back or changed however you want. And of course we also want to have some conversation as well that we could do, because that would really spice things up a little bit. But if you want to have more information about how to add custom file sounds, I also made a tutorial on that, and that will also be linked in the description below. So, one final look in the mission folder, where we're going to just type out a little bit of fluff, conversation pieces basically, because I just want to show you where it should go and where it should not. Alright, so let's jump back to that folder one more time and let's have a look. Alright, so back into the mission folder, we are going to open up intro.sqf. And we are going to go at the bottom there, where we have disabled the AI from shooting and have disabled or enabled our guys to start walking forward. And we're going to add in a sleep command of, let's say, 3 seconds. And then we're just going to say player side chat. Nice sunny weather, isn't it? Sleep 4. A1 side chat. Sure is. I hope nothing bad happens. Alright, and we should of course add the semicolon as well at the end of these things. Alright. Now you can go on as much as you want. And that's basically it. So let's save this thing. And also, one thing that you might want to do is set the group ID. So I'm going to jump back into the game one more time and show you how to do that as well. I did cover it in my previous videos as well, but yeah, let's just be thorough about this. Alright, so we're in the editor once more, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to open up the team leader, A1. And what we're going to do is we're going to go towards his init box, and we're going to write this set group ID. Then we're going to have a bracket, quotation marks, Sergeant Kozlowski, because let's make this Operation Flashpoint themed, because that is the best thing ever. Right, quotation mark, another bracket, semicolon. We're just going to copy this, and we're going to open up the player, and in his group we're going to say Private Armstrong. Of course, Kozlowski was not the sergeant, but I can't remember his name right now. Berg or something like that in Operation Flashpoint, I think, or Bergen. Something like that. Anyway, let's save this. Let's have a look at the scenario one more time. Right, we're walking forward. Nice sunny weather, isn't it? Private Armstrong shows up. As you can see, he's using this name. Now Sergeant Kozlowski says, sure is, I hope nothing bad happens. Then we're going to reach the trigger.
Ready. Ready. Six. Attack the sniper. Northwest.
Alright. A few things to note here, and that is, let's see, we probably want to save this game as well once the sniper is dead. So the way you could do that is you place down the trigger. I usually like to place these triggers close to the things that trigger them. So sniper 1 is going to be, let's see, variable name, sniper kill. Condition is going to be alive sniper 1, and on activation we're going to say save game. Of course, we also want to make sure that let's see, this ambush trigger no longer has the hint being displayed once you reach it. And one final note is that for now I use these guys as like A1 and player as the names for the chat. If this guy would happen to survive, for example, you can make sure that he doesn't die, of course. It kind of looks weird if he gets hit and he doesn't die, but if you want him to be alive for story purposes, you can certainly make that happen. You can just say, let's see, disallowed damage false, for example. And that would make sure that this guy doesn't die, and you can keep him as a story element. But since we used him, and we used him for our character roles for the chat, That only works because right now each unit here is an individual group. So we have group 1, group 2, group 3, and that is why set group ID works. But as soon as we link these guys up, you know, these guys are going to join each other. These guys are going to be one group, and set group ID no longer works for both of them. Like if you then use A1 to say anything, or the player as anything, he's going to show up as the sergeant. So what you might want to do later on is... Sorry, I got interrupted there. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to place another guy down, you know, whoever, just place him down there, and you're going to use him instead of the people inside of your actual group. So you're just going to make sure that, for example, if you want this guy to be HQ, this guy's going to be HQ. You can copy and paste him. He can be the squad leader, SL, etc, etc. You know, generally speaking, you don't want to name the guys in your group and use them for any chat in the radio channel. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. So please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this and want to see more. And I'll see what I can do for my or for any more ArmA free Eden editor videos.